The unthinkable just happened, and the hip-hop world may never recover. Jim Jones Dipset's Harlem-bred powerhouse has officially declared war, not on a rival crew, not on the industry, but on his own brother-in-arms, Camron. And the reason, a leak so personal, so humiliating, so raw, that it has ripped apart decades of loyalty in one night of chaos. The streets are buzzing, Twitter is in meltdown. And fans are asking the only question that matters. Did Cam really leak Chrissy's private video? Picture this: a grainy clip, no caption, no tag, dropped out of nowhere like a digital bomb. At first, people thought it was fake. But within minutes, the timeline erupted. Faces were recognized, names were whispered. And suddenly, all eyes locked on Camron. The theory spread like wildfire. This wasn't an accident, this was a betrayal. Jim's silence didn't last long. The man known for his cool Harlem swagger exploded in rage, confronting Cam directly. And in the process, unleashing decades of pent-up animosity, resentment, and secrets that were never supposed to see the light of day. This isn't just a feud, this is a demolition. A brotherhood collapsing in real time. Fans are already choosing sides, celebrities are chiming in, and leaked texts are painting an even darker picture. What started as a private violation has spiraled into an all-out war that could bury the Dipset legacy for good. And trust me, this is only the beginning. The chaos began with a single post. No caption, no context, no hashtags. Just a raw, unfiltered video that slipped onto the timeline at 3 a.m. from a burner account with 0 followers. Within seconds, the internet knew exactly what it was looking at. Chrissy, Lampkin, Jim Jones's longtime partner, the woman who stood by him through every storm, was caught in the most private and humiliating moment imaginable. It was grainy, it was intimate, and it was never meant for the public eye. But the fact that it was out there at all was enough to ignite a wildfire that spread faster than any diss track or industry beef ever could. At first, fans didn't believe it. They swore it had to be AI, a deep fake, maybe even an old fake out from haters. But then the edits started. People slowed the video down, zoomed in on backgrounds, voices, mannerisms. TikTok detectives dissected every frame. And slowly, a disturbing consensus started to form. This was real. This wasn't some manufactured scandal. Someone had gone out of their way to expose Chrissy in a way that not only destroyed her privacy, but also detonated a bomb directly under Jim Jones's reputation. And the whispers started almost immediately. Cam did it. Why Camron? 'Cause the only people who would even have access to something like this were people who had been close, very close, during the Dipset glory years. Insiders whispered that back in the mid-2000s, private Dipset hard drives were circulating between members. Music sessions, tour footage, personal files, everything was on those drives. And when Dipset fractured, when egos clashed and business deals turned sour, those files went missing. According to sources, Camron was one of the only people who had physical possession of the hard drives at one point. That coincidence was all it took for the internet to put him on trial by sunrise. Twitter was a frenzy of think pieces and wild theories. #CamikTit was trending. Instagram stories turned into war zones with fans reposting the clip, demanding answers and tagging Jim, Cam, and even Chrissy herself. Memes mocked the situation. TikTok creators acted out fake skits of Cam hitting upload while sipping wine. The narrative had already taken shape. Camron was the villain, Jim Jones the betrayed brother, and Chrissy the collateral damage in a feud that had just turned nuclear. But then Jim made his move. Less than 24 hours after the leak, Jim Jones went live on Instagram. No PR spin, no carefully worded statement. Just Jim, raw and unfiltered, looking straight into the camera with fury in his eyes. Over 120,000 people tuned in within minutes. "I don't care what y'all say," he began, his voice trembling. with anger. "This man been jealous of me since day one. You don't touch family. You don't play with my woman. That video ain't no accident. That was sent to hurt me." The comments section exploded. "It's Cam 100%. Dipset dead. Forever. Chrissy doesn't deserve this." Fans weren't just watching. They were participating in the collapse of a legacy, typing their heartbreak, their rage, their disbelief in real time. But Jim didn't stop at the video. He started digging up old wounds, bringing receipts of betrayal that went back over a decade. He reminded everyone of the 2017 Hot 97 interview where Cam aired out Dipset's dirty laundry, humiliating Jim while keeping himself cool and detached. He accused Cam of cutting him out of tour money, whispering lies to labels, sabotaging his solo moves. And now, in Jim's eyes, leaking Chrissy's video was the ultimate act of war. The nail in the coffin of their so-called brotherhood. The internet went into meltdown mode. Screenshots of Jim's live flooded Twitter. Fans replayed clips where whispers of a smear campaign started to swirl. The alleged texts that leaked, the ones hinting that Cam had plans to hit Jim where it hurts, weren't isolated. Insiders claimed there were dozens more, some so explicit they detailed step-by-step moves to sabotage Jim's reputation. According to one anonymous source, Cam didn't just want to embarrass Jim. He wanted to erase him. The plan allegedly involved leaking Chrissy's tape, spreading rumors about Jim's finances, and even planting stories in blogs about supposed betrayals Jim had committed against Dipset years ago. It wasn't beef anymore. It was war with an actual strategy. But while these accusations spread, the streets started chiming in with their own evidence. A club promoter from Atlanta suddenly went viral when he posted a thread claiming he'd overheard Cam talking reckless about Jim Weeks. Earlier, he said Jim think he a boss, but he a clown, the promoter wrote. He said he gone show the world what Jim really is. That one post got tens of thousands of retweets, and by the end of the day, even people who were skeptical were starting to wonder, was Camron orchestrating all of this behind the scenes? Meanwhile, Jim wasn't done talking. If his first IG live was a bomb, his second one was a nuclear blast. This time he came with props, old photos, old contracts, even handwritten notes. He accused Cam of taking side deals during Dipset's heyday, cutting him and Joel Santana out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. "You been robbing me since '05, Jim shouted into the camera. "You think this about a video? Nah, this is decades of dirt." Fans were stunned. Jim was cracking open the Dipset vault, airing out secrets that had been whispered in barbershops for years but never confirmed. And in the middle of all that rage, he turned the knife. "You think you can break me with Chrissy? You think that's loyalty? That's how you treat family? Cam, I'm coming for you. This ain't rap beef. This personal." The comment sections went insane. Supporters dropped crying emojis and angry faces. Others begged Jim to stop before things went too far. But the damage was done. Jim had officially declared war. And Cam's silence only made him look guiltier. But then came the real twist. An audio recording surfaced. A short, muffled clip hit YouTube late at night, supposedly of Cam talking. To an unnamed industry insider, the audio wasn't crystal clear, but fans swore the voice was Cam's. In it, the man laughed and said, "Wait until they see the Chrissy joint. That's gone, break Jimmy for good." Whether it was real or fabricated didn't matter, the internet ate it up. The clip spread across every platform, sparking an even bigger frenzy. If Cam thought silence would protect him, this leak turned silence into confirmation. Now, the feud wasn't just internet gossip, it was national headlines. Major outlets were running with the story and think pieces flooded the timeline. Death of Dipset. How brotherhood in hip-hop became a business deal gone wrong. And worse, Chrissy's name was being dragged mercilessly. She became a trending topic, not for her fashion or her reality TV legacy, but for the violation she never asked for. Fans begged people to stop sharing the clip, but the internet is cruel. And the damage had already been done. The social media chaos was relentless. On Twitter, die-hard Dipset fans were splitting into factions. Team Jim argued that Cam was a snake, jealous of Jim's rise and desperate to destroy him. Team Cam argued that Jim was being dramatic, using a tragedy to paint himself as a victim. While covering up his own shady business moves, hashtags exploded. Hashtag CamSnake. Hashtag Protect Chrissy. Hashtag DIPSET over. Hashtag Jim Exposed. And celebrities weren't staying quiet. 50 Cent jumped in first, posting a shady meme of Cam with the caption, "This the kind of friend you don't need." It went viral instantly. Jadakiss chimed in with a cryptic tweet. "Loyalty ain't what it used to be." Remy Ma went live on Instagram and said straight up, if Cam did that, he dead wrong, point blank. Even Fat Joe threw fuel on the fire, saying the feud was sad but inevitable. Every reaction from industry vets only deepened the sense that this wasn't just a personal beef. This was a cultural betrayal. And then, in the middle of it all, Chrissy herself broke down. She went live briefly. No makeup, no filter, just tears. In her eyes. She didn't say Cam's name, but she said enough. "I've been nothing but loyal. To my man, to his people, to the family we built. And this is what I get. This humiliation." Her voice cracked, and within minutes, she logged off. But those 90 seconds of vulnerability spread across the internet like wildfire. Fans who had been on the fence turned instantly. Seeing Chrissy in pain, destroyed by a betrayal she didn't deserve, made Cam look like a monster. Still, through all the chaos, Cam said nothing. No posts, no denial, no attempt at damage control. And that silence became its own narrative. Said he was guilty and had no defense. Others claimed he was waiting to drop his own bomb. That Cam never plays defense. He waits until his enemies burn out and then goes for the kill. Either way, the world was watching every move, waiting for his response. But just when the scandal seemed to peak, another wave of betrayal hit. Screenshots surfaced from group chats involving former Dipset associates. In one, a supposed ex-tour, manager claimed Cam had been talking about taking Jim down for months, bragging that he had enough dirt to end his career. Another message claimed Cam laughed about Chrissy behind the scenes, mocking her influence over Jim. These leaks didn't just paint Cam as disloyal, they painted him as cruel, vindictive, and obsessed with destroying the man who once called him a brother. The industry began to recoil. Promoters started canceling Dipset reunion talks. Venues quietly backed out of bookings. A brand deal Jim was negotiating reportedly froze overnight. Money was evaporating, reputations were crumbling, and the fans who had once chanted Dipset were now mourning the death of a movement that had defined their youth. And yet, Jim wasn't done. In a move that shocked everyone, he teased that he had his own recordings, proof that Cam had not only leaked the video, but had been secretly plotting against Dipset members for years. On his live, he leaned into the camera and said, "Y'all, think Cam got dirt on me? Wait till you hear what I got on him. This ain't over, not by a long shot." The cliffhanger was brutal. If Jim really had recordings, if he really had proof, then this wasn't just about Chrissy's video anymore. This was about rewriting Dipset history, exposing the foundation of lies it might have been built on. The internet held its breath. Was Jim bluffing, trying to scare Cam into responding? Or was he about to unleash something that would permanently destroy Cam's career, his reputation, and the legacy of Dipset forever? The world was already reeling, the Dipset legacy already dangling by a thread, when Jim Jones promised the ultimate bombshell. Fans were glued to their phones, waiting to see if this was just more venting or if Jim actually had the kind of receipts that could bury Camron forever. And when the next leak surfaced, nobody could have prepared for the chaos it unleashed. Late one Friday night, An anonymous page dropped a folder of audio recordings allegedly tied to Jim's camp. They weren't polished, they weren't filtered. They sounded like raw backroom conversations recorded on a phone left in someone's pocket. But the voices, fans swore they recognized them instantly. It was Camron, laughing with a known industry fixer. "Jimmy emotional? That's his problem," the voice sneered. "He loved that girl too much. You take Chrissy out the picture. You take Jimmy out the picture." The audio spread like wildfire. TikTok edits blasted it over footage of old Dipset concerts. Twitter threads dissected every syllable. YouTube reactors broke it down frame by frame, and the verdict was unanimous. Cam wasn't just careless, he was calculated. He wasn't beefing with Jim in the moment. He had been plotting for years, biding his time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Jim capitalized immediately. He went live again, tears in his eyes but rage in his voice. "Here, it for yourselves. That's the man I called my brother. The man I bled with, ate with, went to war with, plotting against me and my family. You think I'ma let that slide? Cam, you crossed the line of no return." His voice cracked, but the conviction was clear. This wasn't a rap beef anymore. This was personal betrayal But as the world tried to process the tapes, Camron finally broke his silence. After days of refusing to comment, he posted a single black and white photo of himself with the caption, "Lies travel faster than the truth." That was it. No denial, no apology, no defense. Just a cryptic message that only deepened the confusion. Was he admitting to nothing? Or was he taunting Jim by implying he'd get away with everything? The ambiguity was enough to send the internet spiraling. Again. Meanwhile, Chrissy, still humiliated by the leaked video, finally made a longer statement. In a somber IG Live, she told fans, "I don't care about the music. I don't care about the business. This is my life. This was my privacy. And the fact that someone I knew, someone who smiled in my face, would use me to hurt the man I love. That's unforgivable." Her tears left fans devastated, and the clip became the centerpiece of countless news reports. Now it wasn't just Jim versus Cam. It was a cultural conversation about betrayal, about women in hip-hop being weaponized, about how far men would go to destroy each other, and if the emotional breakdowns weren't enough. The money started bleeding out. Insiders claimed Jim had been in talks for a lucrative streaming docuseries about Dipset's rise and legacy. That deal was dead overnight. The producers pulled out, citing unresolved legal concerns. Meanwhile, a sneaker collaboration Cam was rumored to be closing evaporated when the brand quietly distanced itself, saying they couldn't risk aligning with someone at the center of such a toxic narrative. What started as gossip was now destroying livelihoods. The betrayal spilled over into the streets, too. A video from Harlem went viral of two groups of young men fighting outside a club. One side chanting "Dipset forever," the other screaming "Cam a snake." Blood was spilled, and suddenly this wasn't just rap drama. It was a community divided. Local leaders called for calm, but the damage was already spreading. Dipset wasn't just music. It was identity. And now that identity was shattered. But then came the deadliest revelation yet. Another leak. This time, screenshots from an alleged email thread between Cam and a shadowy industry broker. The emails hinted at a larger plot, sabotaging Jim's image right before the anniversary of Dipset's iconic debut, in order to position Cam as the sole surviving face of the movement. "We control the narrative. We control the money." One line read, "Once Jimmy folds, the throne is mine." The betrayal was now beyond friendship, beyond loyalty. It looked like Cam was trying to erase Jim entirely. The hip-hop world erupted with think pieces. Podcasts debated whether Cam was the coldest chess player in rap history or simply a washed-up legend desperate to stay relevant. And Jim, he doubled down. "This ain't just a feud," he declared. "This is extermination. And if it's me or him, I promise you it won't be me." By now, celebrities who had stayed quiet couldn't hold back. Meek Mill tweeted, "Man, if Cam really did this, hip-hop lost something sacred." Cardi B went live ranting about loyalty, saying, "How you play your own family like that? That's beyond grimy." Even Jay-Z, known for never wading into messy public beefs, was rumored to have pulled strings behind the scenes, cutting off certain opportunities for Cam to distance ROC Nation from the scandal. But just when fans thought Jim was on the verge of total victory, a new twist landed that flipped the narrative again. A mysterious blogger released supposed evidence that the leaked Chrissy tape didn't come directly from Cam at all. According to their theory, an old associate of both men had stolen hard drives years ago, and Cam might only have known about the leak without stopping it. If true, that meant Cam wasn't the one who pressed upload, but his silence and his history made him look guilty anyway. The revelation cracked the internet in half. Some fans screamed, "See, Cam didn't leak it." Others shouted, "Back, doesn't matter, he still planned it." The uncertainty was worse than clarity because now nobody knew what to believe. Jim refused to back down, insisting the tapes and texts proved Cam's guilt. Cam refused to speak beyond cryptic posts. And the industry, caught in the crossfire, quietly started preparing for a reality where Dipset as a brand was dead forever. As the dust settled, one last shocking detail emerged. Jim teased on live that he had one more tape, a recording so explosive it could not only end Cam's career, but drag other industry giants into the scandal. "Y'all think this about me and Cam?" Jim said, staring into the camera. "This is bigger. This about the whole game. And once I drop what I got, the entire culture gonna see who's been pulling strings from the start." The comment section froze. Was Jim bluffing again? Or was he sitting on evidence that could unravel not just Dipset, but the entire hip-hop hierarchy? Fans flooded timelines with theories. Some said Jay-Z, some said Puff. Others whispered about unseen moguls who had been playing Jim and Cam against each other for decades. The cliffhanger was brutal. Jim Jones had promised the final nail in the coffin. Camron was cornered but still silent. Chrissy was shattered, the fans were divided, and the industry was on the brink of disowning them both. This wasn't just a feud anymore. This was the unraveling of a dynasty. And as the world held its breath, waiting for that last tape to surface, one truth was undeniable. Dipset would never be the same again. And there you have it, the scandal rocking hip-hop to its very core. Jim Jones attacking Camron over the Chrissy leak. A brotherhood shattered and a dynasty left in ashes. But the real question is, are we seeing the end of Dipset forever? Or is this just the beginning of a darker war that's about to expose even bigger names in the industry? Jim promised the final tape. Cam is still silent, and Chrissy's tears are still haunting every fan who ever believed in their bond. But now I want to hear from you. Do you believe Cam really orchestrated this betrayal? Or is Jim letting years of bad blood cloud his judgment? Could this all be part of a bigger setup by shadowy industry players? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now, and trust me, I'm reading every single one of them. If you think this is wild, then you don't want to miss what's coming next. Because when that final tape drops, and it's only a matter of time, the truth won't just break the internet. It could collapse the entire foundation of hip-hop loyalty as we know it. And if you're not subscribed, you'll be left behind, so hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on notifications immediately, because the next update in this saga is going to be the one that makes history. Stay tuned, because the storm isn't over. It's only getting started.